So there's a number of stages through the building process. You don't have to generally pay, the full amount because you haven't completed, but you do pay certain percentages as each stage is completed. So if it's base stage, or when the slab's down, or the frame stage, etc., there are certain percentages the builder, which is all clear in your contract. It's basically, you will then start paying, instead of paying 250 grand, I guess the 250 grand land component, it might be, after the first stage, it might become 300 grand you're starting to pay for out of your $500,000 loan, and then it gradually builds up. So you need to factor in cash flow wise, if you are renting or paying for another house, you need to understand that that's going to increase as time goes through, as the build progresses towards the completion stages. Explain that okay, Daz?
Yeah, I reckon. And I think the other bit in that, so this was the one that this customer slash friend brought up, was that he was concerned about the progress payments and making those payments for the build cost, and as they sort of go through. So he's trying to factor in those numbers to his sums, which he hadn't done previously. So he's like, everything's good. And then, like, holy crap, I've got to pay for this thing on the way through, right? So he'd factored in the progress payments for the land, but not for the house component. So he's just had to go back to the drawing board and find a few more bucks, that he's got sitting aside, because he doesn't want to stress himself out too much during that process. The other one is in that same spot, is the longer it takes to build, the more additional repayments you're going to have to make. So, obviously you want to be asking your builder around, how does their build times look like at the moment, right? Because build times should, for most builders, be coming back in, getting a bit quicker, right? So you want to ask those questions. One thing you can do also, if you want to get some reality of it, is go out to a build site, ask to see, give me 3 build sites you're building, and go and look at the sign that's on the front, and it'll give you a permit issue date, right? And if that house is nearly completed, you'll get a real idea of how long it's taken them to build it. Right. So I was talking to Cole before we recorded this episode about, I was out at a site the other day, and that's how I knew how long they'd been on site. The builder next door was because it had a date when they got their permit, and we're now 7 or 8 months down the track. So I could establish pretty quickly how fast they're building that home. Right. So you can always ask that question. If you've got 2 or 3 builds, or just drive around near the display homes, there'll be some builds from that builder, and check out the date that the permit was issued, and then look at today's date and go, hold on, how much work have they done? Does that look a lot compared to the other builders?